because right now he will fall behind in a macro battle. So there's got to be a point in the game right now that he's got it planned out that he's going to get to X number of drop ships and troops, and he's either going to push in at the natural, or he's going to go for a big drop there on the right side, or he's just going to expand. It's got to be one of those three options. He doesn't really have any other choice, because if he just tries to macro up, the triple gas of Terran is just going to obliterate the double gas of a Terran, and especially considering that it shouldn't be too difficult for UpMagiC to take another his natural expansion as well. Looks like Midas is choosing to go for the command center route. He's going to go try and take an expansion at the bottom right, natural expansion. He might be trying to take the mineral only at the bottom left as well. That could be a possibility. Honestly, if the bottom left, he might as well just go jump his SCV over and try and get another gas expansion so that he can get up to 4 gas and really tie UpMagiC once again, because UpMagiC is going to be able to get up to 4 gas again. So it seems like Midas' play is just going to put him behind every step of the way, and that's not really good for him. But he might be able to pick off this dropship. If that dropship goes down, that could be helpful as well. He did get a couple Valkyrie volleys off on those Wraiths as well, so those are some highly damaged Wraiths. If he can finish those things off, that could also be an advantage play into his hand. But he's got to watch out for that turret. He was forced to run away because of it. He's still producing aerial attack units. Both these players still producing aerial attack units and haven't converted fully into dropship play like we usually see from Terran players. But I think that'll happen at any moment, really. It's got to happen. It's just always happened in TBT. There's really no other option as the game wears on. As Goliath numbers grow, scanners grow, there's just no point to continue to produce Wraiths. And it looks like Midas is going to try and clear away some of the turrets on the right side of the map, going to try and hide whenever he does go for a drop, which is going to come. There's just no way that it's not going to come, or some sort of attack on the right side of the base, because it's just going to be so hard to push into UpMagic's natural, unless he's got some kind of sick drop or something planned there to try and break that natural expansion. He's just going to fall behind. So I think Midas has to do something here. I don't think that he can afford to play as passive as he is playing right now.
I actually have somebody at the door, so you can go ahead, Star.
Oh, okay. Sounds great. Now we have UpMagiC taking the mineral only in the top left area. Drop going down, and UpMagic's double gas, and UpMagiC trying to push out right now. So he breaks out of the push. There's still quite a bit of Wraith and Valkyrie flying around for Midas, though. And it looks like he's going to have to lift his fourth, and he's going to lose his advantage of having that double gas. Midas also has his base down smoothly at the natural for the third, the other base, and he also has a mineral only. So it looks like, economy-wise, UpMagiC is behind a little bit, and he does get off enough. Nope. He's going to lose that base. He couldn't get off enough units to stop that dropship and Wraith and Valkyrie.
Yeah, that sucks. And not only that, he loses the dropships that were in there, and he loses whatever units were inside those dropships. So that's like a double, triple loss for him right now. So we're seeing him try to push out here. I think he knows that he's got to push out and do some counter damage once again. And we're seeing the push-pull that we see in mirror matchups. Whenever damage is done to one side, there has to be counter damage done, because there's no unit. There's very in mirror matchups. There's just very little you can do in terms of just unit composition that will suddenly just allow you to even it back up, except maybe like DTs or something like that, which can kind of do it. But for the most part in mirror matchups, anytime you get hurt, you've got to do counter damage of some form, otherwise you will fall behind. And that's why we're seeing the map control that UpMagiC is now trying to take, continuously taking the entire center of the map. He's going to move down to the bottom right, going to try and take down this expansion. I think he's going to be very successful doing it. He might even be able to kill this dropship. And now we see Midas taking a double gas expansion at the bottom left as well, so he's trying to do the same thing. And the difference is that UpMagiC doesn't really have dropships. He's lost 2 or 3 throughout this game, so he doesn't really have the dropship numbers to go down there. I don't even know if he knows about that base. And it looks like Midas is going to lose this bottom right natural, though, and that's going to be a big pain for him. That's a loss of his entire third base, and he's not moving away those SCVs either, so that his SCV count is also going to be low. So that's a pretty big blow to him as well. So both these players just kind of taking big hits on the economic side. Haven't really seen the big military confrontation yet. Both players just macroing up pretty solid force. We've seen some minor confrontations here and there, but I don't think we've seen a real decisive battle to call this game. It's still definitely hanging the balance. And now we're going to see some dropships of Midas taken down by Wraiths. That's unfortunate. A couple of them going down, and then the dropship dropping out its units, but they're just being picked off by UpMagic's forces that came back in the middle. So that's some poor play by Midas Cat, losing all those dropships in that way. and his aerial force was just not there to defend. So he definitely just took a big blow now to his air mobility, not unable to move his ground forces around as much. That definitely is going to hurt. As UpMagiC definitely has a very powerful ground force wandering around the middle of the map.
Yeah, really unfortunate hit taken by Midas. I really thought that he was going to have the advantage here, having that pretty big aerial fleet with those 3 Valkyries flying around. But UpMagiC just kind of picking at the holes, finding where those dropships are, and when the supporting air units were not alongside. And at this point in time, though, if you take a look at where the bases are positioned, actually, UpMagiC is only functioning off of 2 gas right now, as is Midas. He's maybe might have a little bit better of a mineral intake, although he's not even mining from that second base that he put up there. So he's really not that strong economically, but he did just destroy those forces in that dropship. A really nice pick off, and he is going to lose that command center as well, which is also going up at yet another mineral only. So as long as Midas can continue to mine these 2 bottom gas here, I think he's going to have a pretty sizable advantage coming into the late game here. But as we see here, UpMagiC is just trying to take bases all over the place because he knows he can. He knows he's got the bigger force. He knows he can do it, especially after having picked off those dropships. I mean, that was a pretty huge decisive moment, and it looks like another drop is going to come in here, going to try to go along the backside there. All he's really got to do is drop off right where he is now. Anywhere along that back edge there, he'll be fine because he can just shell at that command center. He's probably going to stop that from going up. It's not going to be that big of a hit, but Midas actually does need the mineral income. And a pretty decent push here coming in from UpMagiC, going to clean up some of these forces and completely defend any shot that Midas had at taking down that 5 o'clock base. So, yeah, I think what Midas needs to do here is just take the mineral only at the 6 o'clock, actually, and hold on to that. Maybe stick some dropships down there, some tanks, as well as some of those air forces. He doesn't necessarily need the dropships, just some tanks and some air forces to defend that off. I think he'll be fine. And a big drop coming in here.
Yeah, oh man, UpMagiC loses a dropship going right in. He's pulled his SCVs to help try to combat with this, and here comes his drops, which, again, they get picked off. Well, UpMagiC is managing to deal with it effectively, though. He's gotten rid of all the Wraiths, and there's only Valkyries left, which can't do much. The last tank is about to go down as well. Since UpMagiC was able to kill that natural, he regained his economic lead, and he was able to ride off his double gas lead earlier in the game. Although Midas he still has a very large dropship count, which is going to make his mobility that much greater than UpMagic's. UpMagic's going to have to play a very targeted defensive-styled game with a limited supply of dropships, and I guess he's going off the premise, if I can expand wherever he's going to expand wherever he can, and kills one base, he'll have another base up and running.
This is just a really weird game to me in TVT. I mean, we've seen Valkyries, which I think were kind of a mistake because I think he was expecting massive Wraith play, and it really wasn't that many Wraiths that he needed to produce 3 Valkyries. And then we just saw mass expos everywhere, and a big push coming out from UpMagiC, but it looks like Midas is going to be able to siege up first. We'll see how much, if he's able to take down a lot of these tanks, but there's so many tanks, +2 upgraded tanks for UpMagiC, got that +2 upgrade, and I haven't gotten to see the upgrades for Midas, but if he's not at +2, that is definitely a huge hurt for him. I wish they would click on one of his mech units, because I have not been paying attention to that particularly well. And here is a second force for Midas pushing out in the middle. He's going to clean up some of the southern front, and he's going to try and at least try and maintain some map presence, and I think he's going to be able to. But yeah, both these players just expanding everywhere. So crazy. If either of them had stopped expanding at some point and maybe just gone for 3 base play, say, instead of the 18 base play that they're both trying to get to, they might have been able to macro up a really big force and maybe make a real push. But instead, we've seen this just massive expo game, and pretty much every base is like being used right now in some way, or has been made unusable. Like the top left mineral only that UpMagiC has rendered useless to Midas, and that he can't really use himself either. So yeah, definitely very interesting game going on now. And now we're seeing the heavy macro of both players start to kick in as the bases, just the mass number have started to finally kick in, and both players have massive numbers of dropships. I think Midas has something like 7 dropships, and UpMagiC has 4 or 5, I want to say. And it looks like 4 there. So a big dropships for both players, and now we're going to see a big engagement going on here. But For some reason, Midas has bringing in his tanks now on the ground, but they're not enough. He needs those dropships to really drop their units and help.